Making sense of politics and the cultural divide from a different perspective. This is America on the Edge with CL Bryant on News Radio 710 Keel.
Well, hello, citizens. It's still a great day in the USA, and it's Monday again, and we're here advancing the cause of liberty and freedom. I'm CL Bryant, and this is America on the Edge, where you'll not live on the edge, you'll have the edge. We're broadcasting from within the borders of the greatest success story the world has ever known, the United States of America. And along with me on this journey is my co-host, Stephen Parr. Stephen, tell the folks what we have in the lineup today.
CL, they are still on the edge in Missouri and Ferguson. Some more rioting breaking out last night. There's been looting. There's been violence. And now today there have been some answers as well. And we will go over that because the question is, with the new information that has come out within the last 24 hours about the 18-year-old who was shot and killed by police, will that change anybody's mind about what they originally thought happened?
And you know, Stephen, the answers that are coming out are not necessarily, would you think, the answers that had been set up to come out?
Absolutely right. Are also going to be talking about Governor Rick Perry, who has been indicted for a veto, which he had the Texas constitutional right to do.
You know what, Stephen? I would hope that Congress would have the courage that Rick Perry has shown and cut off the purse strings.
And we will be going through that in depth. Just a little teaser here. I just want you to listen to what this is all about. It all started from this moment when a DA was pulled over for drunk driving.
Oh, ma'am, I want you to stand right here so I can explain everything to you.
But I have a bad back, and it hurts, and I'm fine. Leave me alone.
You're falling backwards. We don't want you to fall over.
I'm not going to fall. I just have a bad back.
Rosemary Lindbergh, she just has a bad back. That's all.
She's medicated.
And, of course, she also had 3 times the legal blood alcohol limit.
Medicated on Jack Daniels.
Yeah, so we are going to be, it's medicinal alcohol. We are going to try and answer the question today, our question of the day. Should Governor Rick Perry have been indicted for the corruption charges? Let us know. Give us a phone call, 318-320-KEEL. Should he have been indicted? Let us know. Obviously not the first Republican from Texas to be indicted by this exact same office out of Travis County.
Yeah, you had Tom DeLay and
the Hutchinson.
And you know what? I think Tom DeLay's was kicked out the same day, wasn't it?
No, actually, that one went to trial, and he was eventually acquitted.
That's right.
Yeah.
Kay Bailey's was one of them was kicked out the same day.
Kay Bailey's
was kicked out.
That's absolutely right. We're also going to be interviewing Henry Burns, talking about what's gone on in the legislature down in Louisiana this last session.
Go get him, CL. I certainly do appreciate this fella.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I appreciate the cookies.
Oh yeah.
I've got a whole plate full of cookies, and some M&M brownies, and some chocolate chip cookies. And
if you think you're going to get out of this room with all of those, you got another thing coming.
Well, they're all from the wooden spoon. See, this is my plate, and I think there's another plate.
Oh, that's your plate.
That's my plate.
Okay.
Because you can tell because it's right next to me. But yeah, if you ever want to corrupt me,
well, where mine?
I'm not sure. If you ever want to corrupt
me, what do you mean you're not sure?
I don't know. I don't know where they are.
Hey, what's going on here? Oh, okay. I got a box.
Yeah.
10-4.
Oh, wow. All right. Okay.
All right.
So we'll be talking about cookies and legislative success as well. But first, the buzz.
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening.
Over in Iraq, there's still fighting going on. ISIS versus now the Kurds and the Iraqi army and, of course, the U.S. Air Force. But some reports came out over the weekend that the ISIS, or the Islamic State, executed 700 tribe members inside Syria.
Were they Christians?
That's part of the thing is that they have been executing people who are not Muslim. They've been executing Muslims as well.
Oh yeah, they've executed plenty of Muslims.
But really, it is essentially a genocide that's going on over there.
And we're twiddling our thumbs.
Well, we're bombing. We are twiddling our thumbs as long as it pushes the trigger of the drone.
There is something ineffective happening here when that many people can lose their lives in the face of America bombing folks.
Well, here's the thing. That was going on in Syria, and we're not bombing in Syria.
That was the red line in the sand.
We drew a red line.
That Assad said, yeah, right.
Right, exactly, yeah. Red line, whatever, was what happened. But that's where the whole thing got confusing, because the red line was against Assad.
Yeah.
But if we had bombed Assad, that would have supported ISIS. But we never really went in and supported the moderates in Syria.
As we said we would.
As we said we would. If you stand up for democracy, we'll stand up with you. That never happened.
Never happened.
And now ISIS has grown, and so, yeah, the genocide going inside Syria. Now, good news, on the good news front, Kurds say they have taken Mosul Dam back from ISIS. That's the dam that could have flooded.
That's very good news.
Yeah, that's the dam that could have flooded all of Baghdad.
And as evil as these people are, and folks, you have to understand, there is evil in this world, and ISIS is the face of it. But that's very good news that they have taken back that dam.
Also, some other news from overseas. In Paris, a Saudi prince was carjacked. He was robbed. He was driving a couple of BMWs through Paris, and they were attacked by a gang of people who then took $335,000.
Ooh, he didn't have to be in the bad part of Paris for that kind of money.
No, this was obviously an organized attack there, and they're trying to figure out if it wasn't just money, but also some sensitive papers that were taken. I also understand we have on the phone Mel from Bossier City. Mel, we have you on the phone. I guess you're calling in to answer our question of the day. Do you think that Governor Perry should have been indicted?
Expletive? No, he should not have. It's a political game. And just a real comment on the Ferguson thing. I'm a retired cop, and let me tell you, this has gotten out of hand. Anytime Jesse Jackson or those guys show up, it gets out of hand. And hey,
Mel, you're absolutely
go ahead and get after them when that white ranger was crippled for life up in Philadelphia just a week ago.
That's amazing. Mel, I certainly do want you to call back often, and I want to thank you for your call. I do agree exactly with you. Whenever Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson show up, they're usually showing up to stir up the flames of no good. And, of course, I agree with you with my good friend Governor Perry. I don't think he should have been indicted either. Folks, you're listening to America on the Edge.
45 years ago today, CL, this happened. This is the Star-Spangled Banner as played by Jimi Hendrix
and
Woodstock.
This is edgy.
Yes, it is.
Check it out.
This is America on the Edge with CL Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
The Italians are not the only lovers of pizza, but just to make the Johnny's of Pizza House experience more authentic for you, we invite you to Be Italian. We'll whisk you far, far away to a land of romance and squisito Italian pizza. A 12-inch for just $12.99 begins your journey. Our new bacon and tomato pizza seasoned with Johnny's special Italian blend. Enjoy, no. Goodere Johnny's bacon and tomato pizza today. Johnny's Pizza House. Taste the best.
Have you ever thought, I wish I didn't have to search for the best price on printing or direct mail? Tired of trying to design your own material on some confusing website just to get to the end and it's not that professional look your business needs? Well, stop searching and call Graphic Industries. We've been waiting on your business, ready to help you with your printing and direct mail needs. Graphic Industries offers all types of print, stationery, brochures, flyers, catalogs, door hangers, books, pocket folders, postcards, variable printed letters, and much, much more. Graphic Industries can direct mail for you, too. You can customize a mailing list, target a certain demographic, or just flood the market and get your name in the homes of thousands of potential clients. Lowest prices, best quality, and a faster turn time. Visit us online at graphicindustries.net. or call us today at 318-222-1100. Graphic Industries, the #1 choice of printing and direct mail.
Hello, everybody. This is Henry Burns. God, faith, and freedom are not free. Many have paid the price. Let freedom ring. What a great radio program. Go get 'em, CL.
If the number on your thermostat is going up just as quickly as the temperature outside, your air conditioner may have a serious problem. Give the friendly folks over at Premier Heating and Cooling a call at 222-1980.
This is the story of Daniel, who was born 2 months early. He weighed 1 pound, 7 ounces. His lungs weren't ready. His heart wasn't ready. His brain wasn't ready. At the hospital, the nurses said Daniel was a fighter, and they would do all they could to help him. The doctor said even with the best care, Daniel may never walk. He may never see. He may never learn. Daniel's parents spent night after night at the hospital, watching his every breath, holding his tiny hands, and looking for signs that he was growing stronger. At home, his parents looked around Daniel's empty nursery, at the quiet toys and the still rocker, and they hoped that one day they could sit in that rocking chair and tell this story to their very healthy son. Daniel's is just one of the more than 500,000 stories of babies born prematurely last year, but there's hope for a happy ending. The March of Dimes is funding the research and programs to stop premature birth. You can help bring more babies home healthy. Learn how at marchofdimes.com. Working together for stronger, healthier babies.
You're listening to America on the Edge with CL Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
We just had to keep the buzz going. Listen to it.
It began the another era.
Yeah, Woodstock, 45 years ago. Jimi Hendrix playing Star Spangled Banner as no one else had ever done it before. Very cool. So we have a lot of stuff we wanted to get to in the buzz. We also had the caller call in, so we want to keep going with a little bit of the buzz.
Glad you called in, Mel.
Really appreciate Mel calling in. We wanted to get him in on the show. But we also want to cover a couple other things in the buzz real quick. Westboro Baptist Church. This is the church that goes around the country protesting people's funerals.
They're at it again, man.
Soldiers and saints alike. And they are now threatening to protest memorial services for comedian Robin Williams and his funeral.
I think it goes too far. Listen, a funeral is probably the most private family thing that can possibly happen in a family's life. I just don't understand the mentality of anyone, particularly people who call themselves Christians. And you do know why they're protesting him. It's because he played a character in
the
a
Birdcage.
movie.
The Birdcage. He played a gay man in the movie The Birdcage.
Now, listen, I don't care if you agree, disagree, or whatever with the lifestyle or whatever, but this goes too far.
Here's the thing for me. Whenever you're doing any type of communication, you've got to think about what you hope to accomplish with that communication. Okay? So they're protesting the funerals because they're against homosexual lifestyle. Do you think protesting a funeral is going to turn someone and go, you know what, I don't want to be gay anymore? Do you think that's going to happen? Absolutely not.
You know, and what if you played, let's say, Bela Lugosi in the movie, and they're against vampires? you played a role, man.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, somebody's got to wake up here.
It was make-believe.
It was make-believe.
Yeah. Also, in Detroit, the police chief in Detroit is telling his citizens there in Detroit, buy a gun. It's time to help protect yourself until the police can get there to help you.
Now,
out.
you and I, we during the prep this morning when we normally do prep, you and I went back and forth about this.
A little bit. Yeah.
Now you were saying that your opinion was that was a good thing that he told them to do this and they should arm them. I don't think he should have broadcasted like that.
Okay.
I think maybe he should, because the criminals are listening to him too.
Yes.
You know, and so even though I'm all for a well-armed, citizenry.
Right.
But still, I think who owns the guns and where they are should not be made public.
Here's why, one of the reasons why I think about that. Rick Perry, not to do the whole show about Rick Perry, but Rick Perry was on...
he's stealing the show.
He was on Jimmy Kimmel, and Jimmy Kimmel said, hey, you shot that coyote when you went running. Do you always pack heat while you're running? And Rick Perry said back, I pack heat when I do interviews on TV.
I love it.
And then he said the real thing is that you never know if somebody's actually packing heat or not, and that's what makes it a deterrent.
And that's true.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. And I do believe that we're coming to a point in this country where it will be more commonplace, Stephen.
So part of the reason why that may be is part of the reaction that's gone on in Ferguson, and that's where we're heading next. Ferguson in Missouri with the shooting of the 18-year-old, and who's, by the way, 6'4", 292 pounds.
Cowboys could have used him.
And the Dallas Cowboys.
Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. And who was...
what other Cowboys are there?
Yeah. Well...
Oh, I know you Oklahoma folks are up there. yeah, but we're talking about the boys.
The boys. How about them, Cowboys? But, yeah, the big guy. And the thing is that the autopsy came out. This was the autopsy that was commissioned by the family, a private autopsy, in addition to the one being done by the DA there in Ferguson, and separate for the one that Eric Holder is now calling for a third autopsy.
Stephen, Eric Holder calling for a third autopsy. Okay, the local coroner did her autopsy.
Yes.
Then a world-renowned forensic scientist, Dr. Botten.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Botten did his autopsy. And so Holder and Obama, because Holder is listening to whatever Obama has to say.
Right.
They're going to do their autopsy. My question is, what are they wanting to accomplish here?
I think Holder is wanting to continue the story. I think Holder wants to insert himself in the story, and I think that he's trying to do it through this process. Now, they may come out and say, we're trying to provide let me just play devil's advocate here. They're going to come out and say, what we're trying to do is provide an objective outside party, not Ferguson where all this is all roiled up, but we're going to do a nonpartisan outside investigation so that everybody knows everything's above board.
Folks, the feds should not be involved in a Missouri murder case. They should not be involved in that municipality. And the municipality should not allow them, the state of Missouri, should not allow the feds to do this because there is no federal case here. The way this is shaking out is evidently a cop evidently was attacked and a kid got killed who may have attacked a cop. Right or wrong of it, this is a state and municipal incident. Eric Holder, the president, doesn't have a bit of business involved.
Interesting you said that the kid may have attacked a cop, because I want to play this audio clip. This is a video right after the incident. One of the people who lived in the neighborhood started pulling out a phone, started recording, okay? And he's recording the incident with Michael Brown laying in the street, the police starting to gather. And off to the side, there's a conversation going around about some people in the neighborhood about what happened. And they weren't on camera, but you heard the audio. Listen to what an eyewitness of the event says before this was a major media event, before this got outside of that neighborhood, before this became politicized. Listen.
Police got out, ran out. The next thing I know, he coming back towards me. The police had his gun drawn already.
He ran from the cop. Next thing I know, he's coming back towards the cop. The cop had his gun drawn already.
That's interesting that it would be put that way, Stephen, because the video that we saw of him jerking around the little store owner there.
Yeah, the strong-arm robbery.
He was headed out the door.
Yeah.
And the store owner went after him. He turned around and came back after the store owner. What that gentleman just said on that tape is almost identical to what we saw on that video of him coming back. Now, a guy 6'5", you say?
6'4".
6'4", 280 pounds, 290 pounds.
292.
He doubles back on you like that? Folks, I don't know. I don't know about you. But if he had taken the pummeling that they say this cop had taken.
Yeah.
And he's coming. And I can tell you something. He was shot 4 times in the arm.
Right.
Twice in the head.
Yeah.
The headshots weren't the first shots
Those
that were
the first
inflicted.
Two. No, there were 4 shots first. Those 2 headshots were the last 2. And it could be consistent with him coming back at the cop because he was not shot in the back according to the autopsy, and he was
as we were told
by the initial eyewitness,
as Al Sharpton said,
right, and he was not shot at gun range, at close range execution style,
as we were told.
Right, none of those things happened.
There were lies.
So this matches closely with what the police officer's account is. The question is, CL, do you think it'll change anybody's mind?
Oh, no. See, this is all by design. You see, you can't let a good crisis, never let, as Rahm Emanuel says, a good crisis go to waste. And this is by design. Progressive liberals, and listen to me, please, folks. Black folks in particular, if you're listening, tell your black friends if they're not. It is high time that we understand that black folks have been used as pawns in these types of situations when folks like Al Sharpton hover like buzzards and vultures over the bodies of dead young men to try to keep racial emotions inflamed. It's time that we become wise to this and say enough is enough of this type of ignorance.
You're listening to America on the Edge with CL Bryant. Do you think Rick Perry should have been indicted? If so, or if not, give us a call, 318-320-KEEL. We'll be right back with Representative Harry Burns.
Giving you the edge. This is America on the Edge with CL Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
SB Magazine, North Louisiana's premier publication, is your source for local entertainment, home decor ideas, gardening information, fashion trends, and seasonal gift guides. Every month, we take you behind the scenes at some of Shreveport-Bossier's most fun events in Eye on SB. And you'll find SB Magazine everywhere. But the best way to make sure you have the most current issue is to subscribe. It's just $16 for 12 months. Call Debbie today or go to our website, sbmag.net. SB Magazine, the pulse of Shreveport-Bossier.
Doctors Thornton, Pugh, Ollier, and Watkins from the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center are excited to tell you about a new, made-for-iPhone hearing aid, Resound Links. Resound Links is the fully featured hearing aid designed to connect directly with iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch. Built with revolutionary technology to bring you a smarter, smaller, and more connected hearing experience. Call the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center at 888-408-6318 today to experience Resound Links. That's 888-408-6318 to schedule your appointment to learn all about Resound Links. Apple, iPad, iPhone, and iPod Touch are trademarks of Apple Incorporated, registered in the U.S. and other countries. Once again, call the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center at 888-408-6318 today to experience Resound Links.
Here's another local expert tip brought to you by Discount Jewelry and Loan.
With over 80 years combined experience in the pawn industry, we know how to get the best price for an item. Make sure that you shop your item around to multiple places. Just because they have a big, fancy building and open showcases doesn't mean they're honest when it comes to buying or loaning on jewelry. Take the time to shop your item around. This doesn't just apply to jewelry though. If you feel you may be getting low-dollared on your other items like TVs, game systems, tablets, guns, or anything else you think may be worth something, don't ever take the first offer if it's less than you're trying to get. Shop it around. Then bring it into Discount Jewelry and Loan at 2738 Mackey Lane in Shreveport. We will give you an honest assessment of your item and loan you more than anyone else. So before you take that first offer, remember, shop it around. Then visit us at Discount Jewelry and Loan at 2738 Mackey Lane. Check us out on discountjewelryandloan.com or on Facebook, or call us at 688-8310.
Find out more about Discount Jewelry and Loan at discountjewelryandloan.com or give them a call today, 688-8310.
Robert and Aaron with stimulating local talk. Weekday morning 6 to 9 on 710 Keel. Plus weather every 9 minutes from our news and weather partner, Fox 33. Watch Fox 33 News Arklatex weeknights at 9 p.m. for the latest news, weather, and sports. Fox 33, working hard to keep you up to date on the latest news and weather affecting your life. Getting it said for the Arklatex, Fox 33, and News Radio 710 Keel. This is America on the Edge with CL Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
Welcome back to America on the Edge with CL Bryant. I'm Stephen Parr. We want to know, do you think Governor Rick Perry should be indicted? Governor Rick Perry, let us know. Give us a tweet at The American Edge. You can also go on our Facebook page, facebook.com/America on the Edge, or do it the old-fashioned way. Use a landline with a rotary dial. Give us a call, 318-320-KEEL. CL, one of the things I just want to point out, you can never trust the media. Before the end of the block there, I said Harry Burns accidentally. I meant Henry Burns.
That's our friend. Get it right.
See, kids, you can never trust the media. They'll just get it wrong every time.
That's right. Henry Burns is with us now, and you hear that voice every day on this show. He applauds us for having a great show, and then he has that signature, "Go get 'em, CL." Henry, it is my absolute pleasure and honor to welcome you here to America on the Edge. Welcome.
CL, it's really an honor. And Stephen, my wife was your biggest fan when you were on the weather on Channel 12.
Oh, that is so nice.
Yeah, she always picked you out as the pick of the litter, you know.
Oh, it's good. It's interesting you use the word litter. Oh, boy.
Hey, I just wanted to mention when you were talking about the protests with the Kansas bunch in funerals, I remember one time I was having breakfast with a bunch of representatives and senators. They were talking about a piece of legislation that Senator Francis Thompson had passed, making it illegal to protest at a military funeral, you know, to interrupt that last farewell. And so actually I had 2 or 3 of the sheriffs call me and ask me, was there anything they could do? And I said, yeah. I said, there's actually a statute and law that makes it illegal. Well, then it was challenged, like so many other things were challenged. They said, well, you didn't have a specific distance away from the activities, the ceremonies, the burial, the church service, or whatever. And so we had to go back and amend the bill to 500 feet away.
Yeah.
You know? But it still stopped that protest that year in Minden, and we were very grateful for that.
You know what, though, Henry? I think it still takes people of low character to do something like that.
Well, you know, when you're saying farewell to someone that means so much to you, whether you agree with the war, didn't agree with the war,
right.
Maybe that child was not perfect. And in fact, my children actually taught me that I was not perfect. You know, but, you know, when you lose someone that's that close to you, it's a tough deal. And
Sure.
they should be able to have that moment to, you know, to mourn and to say farewell.
Amen. Well, Henry, I want you to tell us what's going on. What's the buzz? Tell us what's happening.
Well, there's a lot of things going on. One of the things I wanted to mention was the Common Core activity that's going on. And I happen to bring the Shreveport Times with me. I don't have the copy of the day in which the lawsuit was filed, but I did get the results on it. On Saturday, August the 16th, the judge denies the lawsuit over Common Core. He rejected 17 state legislators' request to halt the use of standards. Now, that sounds like we lost the battle.
Right.
You know,
sounds like complete defeat there.
Yeah, it sounds like it, you know. But if you go into a little bit further, what he says is that, in fact, he disagreed with the fact that we wanted a temporary injunction, that maybe we should have filed a permanent injunction. And that's what he actually protested. So, in theory, the lawsuit is still alive, and it could go forward. And I was on the phone today with Brett Guyman, and he's kind of the leader of this movement for us. And we're trying to decide now what our next move, if there will be a next move, what it will be. So that's a tough thing. And see, let me say this: many of us fell into that same ditch, so to speak, because when they came to us, they said something very simply like this: do you want your kids to perform better? Do you want them to be competitive? Do you want them to achieve a position in the world market? And we said, yes.
Of course you do.
Of course.
You know, but that yes was a little bit ingratiated, let's say. It was expanded on exactly what we were saying by that. And then in time, one of the reasons, too, that the lawsuit was not didn't follow the way that we wanted it to under the Administrative Procedures Act was that we actually incorporated this in 2010, and there's a 2-year limitation on it. So we filed our suit in July of 14, and the statute of limitations basically ran out on us in July of 2012.
Well, this is the thing that I want the folks to know, and I don't want them to have any doubt on where I stand on this Common Core issue. And folks, please hear me. I believe that Common Core is Obamacare for the schools. I believe it's the same type of takeover, the same type of heist, the same type of hoodwink and bamboozlement that Obamacare was. How say you, Steve?
One of my things about Common Core, people will talk about states' rights on it. They'll talk about some of the standards things. I'm not sure anyone nationally has fully articulated why it's not the right path. And I want to give you the chance to do that, to say why you think this is not the right path for education for Louisiana.
Well, we've got a lot of great educators and people who could come up with standards. And when you follow the Common Core, it's really not a standard. It's what you would call a curriculum, because it's in a book. It's it's in literature that they would follow and work. Then how would you test it? See, the whole time we were debating the whole deal, they were still trying to make up the questions for the evaluation part with Park. And so it was not, it was in action. It wasn't even complete. And so I think how I see it and how I could define the difference is that we all want standards. We got great teachers, we got great administrators, we got great educators in Louisiana. We can come up with the standards. But why are we going to choose the theoretical curriculum of Common Core? All I can tell you is, now, there are certain groups that have bought into it. I'm just telling you about my constituents and people within my own family. They do not like it.
And there's a good reason for that. Listen, when you have, and this may get to, and I wish that somebody nationally would articulate it in this way.
Okay.
Let's just say you can cross the border to Texas and get a better education. Or you can cross the border into Louisiana from Mississippi and get a better education.
Right.
Do you know why you have those two types of dynamics going on? It's because of what we have always known in this country as competition. What Common Core does to the American psyche is the same thing that is happening all over the board as far as trying to rob Americans of the ability and the drive, the spirit of competition. Everyone has an equal outcome, a common core, and everyone learns at the same pace. No, and you know what? George Bush does not go unblamed in this because he had that thing, no child left behind.
This was never really tested out. One of the things about the states, they're supposed to be a laboratory of democracy, right? So we're supposed to be testing things out. If you want to figure out what to do to improve your education, one of the things that we got 49 other states, you can look at what they're doing. Common Core wasn't really tested. They had some ideas, but it's not like states really had it, and those states were blowing everybody else out on all the standardized tests, on the SAT and on college entrance examinations. That wasn't done. I do want to get to another point of legislation that you were able to successfully shepherd through the State House down in Baton Rouge, and that allows off-duty police officers to go to restaurants of their choice without first having to go home and lock up their firearms.
That is correct. And actually, a couple of years ago is when I started that procedure, and I got support from the rank and file throughout, sheriffs, state police, local city police and all. I just didn't have a lot of success the first couple of years with the higher-ups within those organizations because they actually didn't like the idea, and it kind of befuddled me to use the word law enforcement, weapon, and alcohol. But what I was getting at basically was, your Chili's, your Applebee's, and places like this, and our law enforcement officers were already there. And so I got it through the House, but it stalled in the Senate side. So I went and got an attorney general's opinion, and he totally agreed that I was correct in my interpretation of how it was written.
And the way it was written, according to that interpretation, was that an off-duty police officer could not go to Chili's because Chili's was serving beer to someone, not necessarily that off-duty police officer. He couldn't go there with his or her firearm.
Mm-hmm. So what happened this year? I brought the bill in, HB 10, and actually the chairman, Representative and Chairman Lapinto, had HB 72 that incorporated some other things associated with the concealed carry. And so what I did was I deferred my bill, co-signed his bill. I was the first co-signer, and Representative Thompson was the second co-signer of it. And so the legislation, if you wanted to track it or find it, is HB 72. So it did pass, and it was kind of interesting because I'd had so much contact with the media, TV, newspapers and stuff. They were coming toward the end of the session. They says, "Why aren't you moving your bill?" And I said, it's almost ready for signature.
Well, you know what, Henry, you're getting the job done down there. We're real proud of the work that you're doing, and we certainly do appreciate your friendship. And let me ask you here, what else, besides Common Core, what else are we, how's the election season shaping up? How do you see it?
Well, it's fixing to really kick off. I think they start this next Wednesday, I believe, signing up for it. We'll see who the players are going to be. It's going to be tough because you see some of the advertising is misleading because it's actually the opposite party's interpretation of how they see that person, and they're paying for the ad, and you would think it would be their opponent. And so there's a lot of confusion out there, too, about the accusations made by different folks. But I'm really hoping that we can have a good Republican showing and that we can get some new leadership, in Congress and in the Senate. And Congressman Fleming, I don't know if he has any, but he seems to be doing a great job, and we work closely with him. So, I'm kind of excited about it. We're not up to next year, though.
Yeah.
Now, hey, did we mention anything about the cookies I brought you?
Absolutely.
From the wooden spoon.
Remember, from the wooden spoon, and they are delicious.
And I just wanted to make sure that you know that Tammy Judge is the new owner, and she is awesome. And her whole family, they're doing great. In fact, her husband's getting ready to retire from the military on the 28th.
Tammy Judge.
Yeah, and his
new owner of the wooden spoon.
She is awesome.
Y'all go out and see her.
Okay.
You are listening to America on the Edge. Henry Burns is just with us. Thanks for being here. If you want to opine on our question of the day, should Governor Rick Perry have been indicted? Give us a phone call, 318-320-KEEL. We're going to be talking about Texas politics and Texas justice next.
You're listening to America on the Edge with CL Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
William F. Duncan doesn't just offer auto, home, and life insurance. He does it with great personal service. William F. Duncan has covered Caddo and DeSoto parishes for over 18 years. Call him today, 318-532-4300. Tell him CL sent you.
If you're in need of a good plumber, perhaps you need work on your heater, or especially right now with cooling and refrigeration systems. If you need help, give the friendly folks at Premier a call at 222-1980.
If you're tired of getting nickel and dime for your company's marketing needs, GI Marketing Group can help. We're a new, evolved marketing company with no monthly fees or markups and with quicker response times. With GI Marketing Group, there is no outsourcing. We own the production facilities, everything from print, mail, video, digital, and web design. We do it all in-house. Call us today at 318-222-1100 to start saving time and money, or visit us online at gimarketinggroup.com.
I chose LSUS.
Life is more than a job. It's about adapting and evolving. At LSU Shreveport, we get you ready for life.
Registration's now in progress for the fall session at LSUS. Classes begin soon. Prepare yourself for a better tomorrow by enrolling today. Call 797-5061 or visit lsus.edu now to plan your class schedule.
I chose LSUS. One University Place in Shreveport. Online at lsus.edu. LSU Shreveport. Ready for life.
Conserving water doesn't take a major change in lifestyle. It's mostly a matter of using good common sense. Water your lawn during the morning or evening to minimize evaporation. You'll also get greater soil saturation and plant absorption. And avoid overwatering. If runoff occurs, stop immediately. The declining Sparta aquifer is our main water source in North Louisiana. Do your part for water conservation. Be Sparta smart. Make every drop count. This public service announcement is brought to you by this radio station, a member of the Sparta Media Network.
This is Jim Lucas with Don't Major on the Minor, number 491 of 1001 Ways to Connect with Your Kids. Pick up your toys. Watch what you're doing. Don't spill your milk. Your clothes don't match. Eat your peas. Mom and Dad, are you nagging yourself right out of a relationship with your kids? Don't major on the minors. Major on the majors, building a healthy bond with a mature, spiritually rooted child.
From Tyndale House, 1001 ways to connect with your kids.
Rush. He's in your face. He says what you might be thinking, and sometimes what makes you mad.
Fewer and fewer people actually have a moral core. They're not willing to stand up for their moral core. And you talk about the double standard, and one of the greatest illustrations of it is rappers can practically say anything they want about women, and it's called art.
Listen to Rush each weekday from 11 to 2 only on News Radio 710 Keel. This is America on the Edge with CL Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
Welcome back to America on the Edge with C.L. Bryant. We've been asking folks, do you think Governor Rick Perry should have been indicted? And our phone number, if you want to call in on that, is 318-320-KEEL. We have Rodney in Stonewall on the line. Rodney, thanks for calling America on the Edge.
Yeah.
Do you think the governor should have been indicted?
Sir?
Do you think the Governor Perry, should have been indicted?
No, I don't. I support him 100%, and I think that they should look at the lady who's doing it and see if she's not committed a crime by doing so, since she was doing it as a vendetta.
Absolutely. You know, Rodney, what's the office that she was
Rosemary Lindbergh. She's the DA, and she was over the Office of Public Corruption.
Office of Public Corruption. That's what I was reaching for, Rodney. This was a woman who was going to be funded for the Office of Public Corruption. The governor of the state has the authority of veto. And you know as well as anyone else that a woman anybody, I'm not talking about a woman, but anybody who has that type of fiduciary responsibility should never. I'm going to tell you folks something. I'm going to go way out on a limb, say this right now. You'll never hear these words. Reverend C.L. Bryant pulled over for public intoxication. You know why? Because Reverend C.L. Bryant is not going to be publicly intoxicated. She shouldn't have been.
She should have known better. Let me play a clip real quick from Governor Rick Perry over the weekend. We talked about this briefly as it came out on Friday. Over the weekend, he's had a chance to defend himself. Listen to what he said over the weekend.
I exercise this authority to veto funding for an office whose leadership had lost the public's confidence by acting inappropriately and unethically. I wholeheartedly and unequivocally stand behind my veto, and I'll continue to defend this lawful action of my executive authority as governor. We don't settle political differences with indictments in this country.
So what happened was he had threatened to veto $7.5 million in a line item veto that would have funded the public corruption unit there in Travis County.
Right.
And Travis County then investigates other aspects of state government because that's where the capital is.
Austin,
She was arrested with a blood alcohol level 3 times the limit. Listen to the night of her arrest. Listen to Rosemary Lindbergh, public servant.
Earlier, the way you were acting, you were kicking and banging on the door.
Yeah, I did. Don't have me handcuffed.
You didn't let the officers finish patting you down. You became resistive with them.
I did not resist. Y'all are crazy.
It's all on video.
It is all on video.
Yeah, it's all on video. The whole world has seen it now. And let me tell you, folks, I said this early on in case you missed it. And by the way, you're listening to America on the Edge at 710 KEEL with CL Bryant and Stephen Parr. But I said this at the outset of the show, Stephen, and I wish to God that our Congress, the United States Congress, had the same type of steel in its spine that Rick Perry is showing in this situation by cutting off the purse strings to things that hurt this country. He cut off the purse strings to a person who evidently did not have the judgment to do well by Texas.
If you are a firefighter and you are pulled over with 3 times the legal limit of blood alcohol limit in your bloodstream, you will be fired.
Fired.
If you are a police officer and you are convicted and you go to jail for drunk driving, you will be fired.
When you were doing your thing at the other place.
Yeah, when I was working for television, absolutely.
If you had been pulled over.
Yeah.
With the same type of situation with her.
Yeah.
It'd have been curtains, wouldn't it?
I would have been fired.
Fired.
On the spot.
Sean Hannity.
Yeah.
My buddy, Sean Hannity. If he is pulled over in that type of situation, I don't know, Sean may not be fired.
Sean might be, he might get suspended.
Yeah, he might get suspended, but he'll probably be back.
But how is it that a DA is convicted of this while they're a DA, and their job is to investigate and prosecute public corruption, and then she behaves like this?
That. Yeah.
Y'all have just ruined my career for no reason at all because some cop pulled me over because somebody made some, and y'all think I'm nuts. Look at this, I'm restrained like a criminal.
Did you hear what she said, folks? Y'all ruined my career.
I think
personal responsibility there.
Jose Cuervo ruined her career.
Or old Jack. I imagine Jack and Charlie Daniels, two of her best friends.
May have had something. It also could have been an Appletini. But the point is, the police officers didn't ruin her career.
No, they were doing their job.
And indeed, she hasn't actually ruined her career either because she's still employed. But the office was then used as a political weapon. This is not the first time the DA's office in Travis County has turned themselves into a weapon against Republicans. They indicted Kay Bailey Hutchinson just after she was elected to the Senate. That case she was found innocent within 30 minutes of the case starting. That never happens. Also, the hammer. Tom DeLay. He was the majority whip for the House. He was indicted by this same office out of Travis County. They initially got a conviction. It was overturned on appeal. He has been acquitted of all charges, but it ruined his political career.
Well, let me tell you, folks, I don't think this is going to ruin Rick Perry's career. I think it's actually going to help him because he's showing real steel in his spine. And with you out there, Mel, and with you, Rodney, I stand with most other Americans, I think, in this country in looking for somebody who has the guts to stand up to people and corruption. This is America on the Edge. We'll be right back.
You're listening to America on the Edge with CL Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
Doctors Thornton, Pugh, Ollier, and Watkins from the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center are excited to tell you about a new, made-for-iPhone hearing aid, Resound Links. Resound Links is the fully featured hearing aid designed to connect directly with iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch. Built with revolutionary technology to bring you a smarter, smaller, and more connected hearing experience. Call the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center at 888-408-6318 today to experience Resound Links. That's 888-408-6318 to schedule your appointment to learn all about Resound Links. Apple, iPad, iPhone, and iPod Touch are trademarks of Apple Incorporated, registered in the U.S. and other countries. Once again, call the Ear, Nose, and Throat Center at 888-408-6318 today to experience Resound Links.
Hello, everybody. This is Henry Byrne. God, faith, and freedom are not free. Many have paid the price. Let freedom ring. What a great radio program. Go get 'em, CL.
Luxury without limits at Jaguar of Shreveport. Online at jaguarofshreveport.net.
Experience the glitz and glamour of Hollywood at the Stars of the Silver Screen Black and White Ball, this year's 25th annual auction against AIDS. Work the red carpet as you enjoy decadent hors d'oeuvres, live entertainment, and other surprises. Plus, original works of art, collectibles, and more will be available to the highest bidder. This year, you're the star at the Stars of the Silver Screen Black and White Ball, Saturday, August 23rd at the Horseshoe Riverdome. For ticket information, call 318-222-6633, extension 2011.
Conserving water is mostly a matter of using good common sense. If there's a drip in your home, it can waste a lot of water. A leaky faucet can add from 20 to 40 gallons a day to your water bill. That's literally money going down the drain. Get leaky faucets fixed. The declining Sparta Aquifer is our main water source in North Louisiana. Do your part for water conservation. Be Sparta Smart. Make every drop count. This public service announcement is brought to you by this radio station, a member of the Sparta Media Network.
Fix our broken immigration system.
I will lead. I'm not running for governor as a stepping stone or to boast a nice title and cut ribbons.
Not going to be fighting in Iraq again.
We'll, of course, respect this Supreme Court ruling.
It's not socialism, so sue me.
What's happening and what it means to you. News Radio 710 Keel. 710 Keel, with your chance to win free gas for a year from Lot Oil. To register, go to 710keel.com or register in person at our Sportsman's Expo August 22nd through the 24th at the Shreveport Convention Center. This is America on the Edge with CL Bryant and Stephen Parr on News Radio 710 Keel.
Welcome back to America on the Edge with CL Bryant. Our question of the day is, do you think Rick Perry should have been indicted? I'll tell you what, CL, even people who don't like Rick Perry have been coming to his defense. New York Magazine wrote, and I'm just going to read the last sentence of the article, jump into the end, but it completely encapsulates how they feel about it. Here's the quote. Perry may not be much smarter than a ham sandwich, but he is exactly as guilty as one.
Okay, they're entitled to their opinion as far as that's concerned. It's a pretty stupid one, but they're entitled to that. But I tell you one thing I'm feeling totally entitled to, and that's these cookies that's been brought over here by the Wooden Spoon. You got Tammy Judge, the new owner over there, and folks going over there and visit them at 4350 Viking Drive in Bossier City. That's suite number 2. It's veteran-owned. Her husband, Jeffrey, is one of the owners along with his wife. And I want to thank you for bringing them in. Folks, we have had a great show today, in my opinion. And I certainly hope that you opine with us on that. We just ask them for 1 hour a day right now. But, Stephen, I can't wait to go to 2 because there's a whole lot more that we have to say.
Yeah, we're trying to get to 2 and then eventually into 3. And if you would like to advertise on the show, you could send us an email, ad@America on the Edge. Send us an email to ad@AmericaOnTheEdge.com. We'll get that, and we'll be able to get you up on the air with us as well.
Absolutely. Now, that question of the day, should Rick Perry have been indicted? I think it was a shot across the bow to keep him from becoming, becoming president of the United States. But even though some may think that he's dumb as a ham sandwich, if you're calling Rick Perry dumb as a ham sandwich, you must be calling a lot of the good folks there in Texas that way, because he's been governor for 14 years, the longest serving public official in Texas since Sam Houston. I don't know many ham sandwiches that would have made it that far.
I've interviewed him several times. He is definitely a very smart individual. He is a very controlled politician.
Yeah.
He normally knows what it is he wants to say and then says it. So when he issued a veto threat, and he's not the only one who's done it, but President Obama has issued several veto threats. That's not against the law.
Well, we've come to the end of another America on the Edge show. And we want to thank you for joining us. And above all, we want to thank God for bringing us to the close of yet another day, and our men and women in uniform all around the globe who, Stephen, protect our right to speak our mind behind these microphones. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.
To protect and defend what we believe and keep America strong and living free.
Your station for news, weather, and